This is the in shop. This is part 3, I think. I'm not even too sure. This is what I've got done. I've spent a little while. All this is stuff I've cut off. You can see all the metal shavings everywhere. It's kind of crazy, actually, that all of this is all metal shavings. Anyway, dash just set it in. It's not bolted in. It needs to be adjusted a bunch. But that's basically where the dash is going to sit. Fenders are off. I welded some tabs on there and there, here and here, for the fenders to bolt into. What I'm doing right now is I'm getting ready to pull the dash back off and drill some holes for bolts, because this isn't going to get welded on. This is going to get bolted in case it needs to be adjusted forward or backward. I have to have enough room right here for the motor to go, so I made, it's about 1.5 feet of space. Should be plenty, but I want to be safe, so I'm adding a little extra room. I'm going to put some steel in here and some steel above here and here, some steel in the front and some steel on the bottom, make it all flat and boxed in. The steering wheel needs to be straightened out. I will get to that whenever I'm to that point. The hood will not fit. The hood is going to be so much longer than this. I'm going to have to adjust and make a hood, probably. But it will have a hood. It will have a hood when it's done, hopefully. But I can show you everything that got cut off. You can see how it's so empty in here. Over there in that corner was a bracket with a pulley on it. That's gone. This piece, I'll show it to you when I'm underneath, but there's the deck height and all that was on that side, and that's all gone. The only thing that's going to be staying in there is whatever's left. So steering column, though, that handle, and then the 2 throttle cables are just going to stay for looks because they just look cool. I might run into one problem down here. This thing for the steering knuckle, it's about 1 millimeter away from the ground. It doesn't hit somehow, but it is about 1 millimeter away from the ground. This is another problem. This is going to get a bracket that comes up and across right here to lay flat on that. Well, this is about 4 inches higher than it used to be. So I'm going to have to cut this up, adjust it, and make it to where it can sit. This can sit at right height, but that moves down there. But that's a separate thing. That's not what I'm worried about right now. So what I think I'm going to finish doing for today is, you can see I already marked up on each side. I'm going to go through, measure from line to line, cut out a bolt hole probably here, here, and here on either side. So that way this piece can be bolted in and be strong on there. For what it is, I think it looks pretty awesome. There's the old hood. Or that's not the old hood to this. This is just a separate hood. But that is a hood. So here's some of the parts that I cut off. These are going back on. These are going back on. These are the steps. These are the fenders. This is the rear half of the frame. None of that's going back on. The box would be awesome to keep, but it doesn't have a lid. It's rusted out. It's junk. Here's some parts I cut off. That's for the deck height. There's the other step that's going back on. This is where the motor mounts. I might end up keeping this because that part might be able to be resalvaged and used, because I cut it along the welding line. So this whole piece is reusable. Then you can just see more deck, and that was the clutch pedals. That was for the deck. That was for idler pulleys. Then just some brackets and some cut little pieces that wouldn't get out of there. Here's a pulley. That pulley actually is free and it spins, so I'm going to keep that. I'm probably going to end up keeping this and this. They're going to go in the yard. This is definitely getting kept, and so is that bracket, because those can go on something. But what I'm going to do for tonight is I'm just going to finish that up. Alright, so we were working out here again today. I just did some work, didn't record though. I took the bottom of here, cut the bottom half off, cut about 3 inches off. It's lined up where it goes. It's not bolted in or anything yet. The back fenders are to go on, not yet though. I need to take off this pulley, and I need to get this bolted in before I move on to anything else. I cleaned the garage, so I have more room now. Everything's looking nice. Got the steps and the fenders over there. I gotta cut the fenders down, or not the fenders. Gotta cut the steps down so they can go right here. But other than that, I'm gonna take off this pulley. Then I'm gonna bolt in these fenders, or this dash. I'm gonna bolt in the dash, and then put the fenders on. And I need to drill out this hole a little bit wider and get that axle in there. I'm gonna adjust all that how I want to as well, and then I'll go from there. But this is what we're at right now. Everything's looking pretty nice, besides the wheels being facing different ways, but that's just because it's not hooked up yet. Gotta finish drilling holes for the axle to bolt in. This thing, I'm really happy with how this turned out. It's flush with this on the bottom, flush all the way down. And that was just kind of a guess. I mean, I marked it and everything, but that was mainly a guess on where to cut. I've drilled the holes in the frame already. I just have to get this piece to line up with those holes. But yeah, I'm gonna work on cleaning this thing up first. I got a lot done. I think this thing is freaking awesome, man. The hood's gonna get shortened down a little bit, but fenders are on, everything's bolted on. Obviously the hood is too long. I kind of like it, kind of looks cool, but it's just way too long for what it is. I think this thing looks freaking awesome. With the lower, yeah, that thing is gonna look awesome. I'm debating on whether I paint the frame or not, or if I let it rust, make it match, because I'm not painting anything on this. I'm not painting the rims, I'm not gonna paint anything. I probably will just leave the frame rusty as it is. What I'm gonna do is, after I get everything mocked up and finished, I'm gonna take everything back off. So I'm gonna take the dash off, the axle out, the hood off, the fenders. I'm gonna go ahead and finish drilling all the holes for the axle to bolt in the front axle. And then I'm gonna put everything back together. I have to drill the holes for the motor too, so that's also why, you know, I have to take everything off. But this is gonna be what it looks like. I think it looks really cool. Hopefully it'll look even better when it's done, and hopefully that light will work when it's done. But yeah. Should I leave the hood long, or should I shorten it? I'm not too sure yet. I think it's gonna look awesome if it's long, but I'm not 100% sure. Because what I could do is add some angle iron down here, like an angle like this. Put a flat grill in there. Let me just see real quick. Because I have this John Deere grill. Like if I angled it, and I put it in here like this. Let me zoom out. If I angled this like that in there, would that be cool? I mean, you'd see it, but it would look more like a Simplicity style, sort of, with the angled front end. But I don't think that really matters, as long as we got the logo. Because straight up and down might not look as cool with the hood already being too long. So if I angle it, that might look better. Plus, this thing just kind of looks awesome as it is. Especially because there's not going to be a motor in the front. I've got plenty of room to work with whatever I need to do. Obviously, I'm going to get a different hood. This is not going to be the hood that goes on it. The tires are all going to be different too. These ones will probably be wider. Those ones will probably be wider. Don't know yet. But in my opinion, this thing looks awesome. I know one more thing I'm going to do tonight before I go in. This shifter is way too long. And with this being at the angle, it likes to do this. I'm going to cut it off here. I may, because I'm going to make this straight. I may make this a little bit longer and put the knob here straight. That way it's just straight and short. Because with it, how it is right now, it's way too close to the steering wheel. Like, look at that. So, that needs to be shortened up. But other than that, that's all. That's where I'm at right now with this thing. It looks pretty cool to me. But the next part will be part 4, I believe. I'm going to be cutting these out See where I marked this out? Cutting those out to bolt the transmission in, there and there. And then I'm gonna finish bolting that one in. Have the short shifter and have sheet metal covering all of this. So sheet. And then I'll also in the next video hopefully have the steering done. I really hope I can. And maybe get a new steering wheel. I'm not too sure about that one yet, but we'll find that out. But anyway, this is Ian's shop, and I'll see you guys in the next part.